This is yet another recording of my social media video because I realized during the editing process, I was like, this video is... For editing purposes, it was tremendously long, and for the editing application that I use or website, it was getting very tedious and troublesome. Therefore, I was like, you know what? Let me see how this goes doing like a couple parts to this topic of social media. So that's going to be the main focus for my next few videos is social media, and I have a lot of thoughts on this, as the vast majority of you I'm sure do. And I want to discuss a few distinct points regarding social media that I wrote down. And so the first, before I get into it, I want to mention, I wrote this in the description of my last video, but I would like to mention again here that I realized that my last video unintentionally looks like a class presentation, and this video is going to unintentionally look like a class presentation, and I know the other parts will as well to this topic. And my future videos may unintentionally look like a class presentation because I realize it's more of my videos are a slideshow format. And I know this is not popular on YouTube or social media in general to have slideshows, which I understand. I realize the formatting of my videos are very atypical for YouTube because it's my voice on top of these images, which usually it's either, you hear somebody's voice on YouTube, but most of the time it's a voice over a plethora of images that aren't in a slideshow format or videos, or you get to see the person. So I realize in those two ways I am quite atypical for YouTube and social media in general, and it can have implications that make it harder for me to gain traction, to gain attention on these videos. But I will get back to that later on in how it relates to social media. So the first topic I want to go over is the screen time to social media. Screen time. So social media inevitably, for a lot of people, will increase the amount of time they're on their devices and on their screens and looking through pixels, because social media is designed to be, the major social medias are designed to be something that the users go back to. They keep going back to frequently, whether it's once a day, a couple times a day, every week, and especially every month. It's something that's supposed to get your attention and have your attention long term, even though that attention that it gets from you, it's in short bursts usually, and the content that one consumes is usually short form content, which is the ironic part. It gets your attention's there to stay, though the attention that what you're consuming is short, and it is gone in an instant usually. So even if you do remember, even if its users do remember the content, it's usually, there's trends, right? The trends come and go. And to me, and it's not just with social media, with the screen time. I may make a separate video about screen time in general, but of course, this is the topic of this video. Social media, it's a very interesting form to get a lot of screen time from, and I don't necessarily believe it's good because of how social media operates. And because of how it operates, a lot of people end up feeling bad after being on social media, or end up feeling like they're missing something, they're missing out on something, they wish they had something, or they end up feeling maybe their life is too boring, too dull. And this doesn't apply to everybody, of course, but I think a decent amount of the people, its users, will end up feeling this way eventually at some point in this realm, in the social media realm. And because social media takes up a lot of that screen time, takes up a lot of that time of the user, I am very, if you know me, I am a person who prefers to be off their screens in general anyways. So, but I think this would be good for most people to just take a break from not only social media, but take a break from their screens and just to be in this moment, to be in the present, taking around your surroundings outside of the pixelated world. It would lead to my favorite word, introspection. I believe it can greater the chances of leading to introspection and to really looking into, okay, like, what's happening in my life now? What am I doing in my life? Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? How do I feel in this moment? Why do I feel this way? And truly being in the present, because when you're on social media, it can be never ending, right? Like you can be on it for hours. There's so much content, so much information that I don't know that can be good, but because of the screen time that's already outside of social media, and then add to that all these applications like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whichever ones, it leads to more of this time in this world, and inevitably it becomes, in my perspective, a distraction from just sitting with yourself and sitting in silence, or even if it's not pure silence per se, like not even if it's not just in a room by yourself, like just being silent, but just away from the devices, and just to be able to truly be by yourself and just see like what transpires, like how do you feel, like, and if you feel anxious, why do you feel anxious, or if you feel happy, why do you feel happy, to just sit with yourself. And then I believe this would really benefit a lot of people. Another aspect of social media that I want to go over, that as soon as you sign up, I signed up for Instagram in Threads a few weeks ago at the start of my YouTube channel, solely for the purpose of my YouTube channel. And for all of its users, it gives you the terms and conditions, all the data it's going to collect about each of its users. And the data that the major social media corporations collect is very fascinating to me, and it's very interesting. It's very scary in some ways, because when I signed up for Instagram a few weeks ago, this profiles it suggested to me were profiles of people I used to go to school with, or people that I may want to follow because of my online interactions, or people I even, it was people I used to go to school with, some family members, and then people I may know, or ones I may want to, like I said, follow because of my online interactions. And it's scary how accurate it can be sometimes, because it's literally people that I knew of, but I don't have in my context. That's the scary part. I don't have them in my context. I haven't spoken to them in years, and Instagram still suggests me these profiles. And it's, to me, that part is scary. I don't know if anyone else feels scared by that, but to me, it is very scary. And then, of course, the data, like the photos you like, the videos you view, all that data is being collected to personalize the experience just for that specific individual, that user. And it's so, the duality to it, if I think that's the word I can use, the two sides to it is that for every user's experience on these major social medias, it's the same in the sense that it's the same when it comes to data being collected, because all the same data is being collected by each user. Yet it's different because that data is used in different ways depending on that user, that individual. Like what we're going to personalize in your feed, what we're going to personalize for your suggested profiles. It's all tailored to that individual to try to get them to stay on the app more. To either stay on the app more or suggest them advertisements, which is another topic I'm going to go over later. Advertisements that they may want to view, they may want to click, and eventually end up, buying whatever's in the advertisement because it's all so personalized. So everybody has a different experience while you're on the app itself because it's so in your mind in a way to make you feel like the app is just for you, right? But that experience is so shared because it does, the apps, the corporations, the people behind it curate in a way that it's for everybody, but what's going to be suggested to you is different, right? And that goes back into the screen time because it usually leads to more screen time because the app knows so well how to personalize your experience that you end up feeling like, okay, it legitimizes itself usually and adds some credibility because it's like, okay, like this app knows me so well, or it knows me better than I know myself. Like they're suggesting me these threads or these posts and it's, or these videos, and it's just for me. And now, I relate to it. So you end up staying on it longer, aside from the downsides of the app. So that part is really, really fascinating to me. So in my next video on social media, I'm going to go over some more topics. I don't know exactly how many videos I'm going to end up doing with this topic, but I'm going to go over some more. And if you listened all the way to the end, thank you. If not, and you just clicked on it and listened to some of the video, still thank you for giving my video a chance. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up, and share it with anyone who may be interested in this topic, because even though it's talked about a lot, I still think there could be more talking about it, because there's still, I still think there's some parts of social media that may not be talked about enough or are not being taken as seriously as it should, perhaps. So, I'm excited for my next video.